Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Grape fam. Thank you for tuning in. This is the weekly update for June 18th. I'm your host, Felix, and let's jump into it. We're going to start with stats. It's no secret that we saw another dump in the crypto markets last night. Bitcoin came down from around the 20K mark to closer to 19K over the past 12 hours, and that has coincided with, some dumps in other tokens. And as we always say, Grape is not necessarily paired or connected to the wider crypto markets, being that we are paired with a stable coin. Unfortunately, though, this particular dump did hurt our Dear Magic Internet Money, which depegged, with the most significant depeg we've seen in the coin's history, still only sitting a few cents now off that dollar peg, but that has prompted us to consider some other measures, specifically pegging to a new stablecoin. So I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, but definitely a tough 12 hours in the crypto markets. And we have seen that unfortunately reflected a little bit in the Grape prices. The good news is that since I took my screenshots this morning after our depeg when we were sitting at a price of 0.9217, our peg has already sort of begun a recovery here. We're looking at 0.943 now, but obviously that is down from roughly 113, which is where we were at last night. So we're definitely, although we're fairly immune to movements in the price of other crypto assets, obviously, any event that shakes confidence in the markets and specifically confidence in MIM is going to hurt our Grape price. But overall, it's great to see that we're already sort of beginning this recovery back to peg. And as expected, anytime Grape dips, that was roughly a 15% dip in the last 12 hours for Grape, we are going to see wine suffer a more significant dip. So this time it was in the order of about 30% overnight. The good news, of course, is that from that low of roughly 160 when Grape first depegged, we're already looking at a 15, 18, almost 20% recovery in the price of wine. And as we all know, the price of wine is going to be heavily dictated by the health of the Grape peg. So if we see Grape move closer to that 1.0 peg, closer to that 101 where the boardroom starts printing again, obviously we can expect wine to reclaim some of these higher prices. And until that happens, it makes sense that wine is trading at a little bit of a discount right now. Next, we're going to take a look at the TVL of the protocol. It's sitting just under 9 million. That's obviously a drop from 11 million at the time of last week's weekly update, but still significantly up from our monthly low of the 6 million mark. So we're still showing growth, obviously taking a hit in the last sort of 12, 24-hour dump, but it's great to see that, even since the time that I wrote my article this morning, we were at roughly a TVL of 8.35, and since then, we moved up a lot closer to this 9 million mark. And of course, as our peg closes in on $1, we can start to see a lot of market cap come back into the wine token. One of the nice things about recording these updates is that I have opportunity to offer a little bit of perspective to the community. So I just want to pull up our peg chart from May 15th, the week after the Luna collapse last month. We can see we spent a period of roughly 36 hours under peg, hitting that sort of 0.96 level, and then, coming up to a slow recovery following that. We're seeing, very similar action here, a 0.90 level back up around that 0.96 level, and, hopefully a similar recovery. We can actually zoom out and kind of see that Luna crash in perspective here. It was, in fact, a lot deeper and a lot more severe. It's not reflected in that peg chart because it was happening so quickly. If we're able to have the kind of recovery we're looking at so far here, this dip will also probably not be reflected in that peg chart. But it's great to just look back and be able to see a little bit of perspective, because at that time, wine dipped to a price of under $90. In this case, we seem to see wine bottoming out around 160, and it's just nice. I think that is a good testament to the level of protocol-owned liquidity in the wine token. And that's thanks to wine nodes, wine rebates, and other measures that the protocol has taken to collect wine MIM LP and just hold it in order to stabilize the wine prices. As always, we'll check in on the winery collection on NF Trade. Not a lot of action on the NFT market this week. We did see the floor price dip a little bit from a high of 16 AVAX over the week to 14.5 again, which is roughly where we were at the time of making our last update. It's good to see Goonbags holding a strong floor. I think the floor in wine glasses has moved up slightly, but overall it seems like people continue to be interested in holding at least one of these NFTs in order to be eligible for these NFT airdrops. And as always, you can use the calculator on the homepage to see exactly how many grapes and wine you'd be eligible for. at each airdrop. Really quickly, we do need to talk about the health of our peg token, and not Grape, the peg token, but the token that Grape is pegged to, which is Magic Internet Money. We've spoken about it a few times, issued by the Abracadabra protocol. And MiM is an over-collateralized stablecoin, so we have a lot of faith in the over-collateralization mechanism. We've gone over that in past AMAs, but we have seen, unfortunately, MiM react very poorly to this most recent market dip. And a lot of that can be attributed to some of the fears talked about in this article here, which is that Abracadabra are allegedly closing in on insolvency due to bad debt from the Terra crash. And we did see the founder of Abracadabra respond, actually with a direct link to their treasury, which will also be included in the Medium article. But you can see that they have over 12 million, it looks like, in hard assets, stablecoins, Curve token receipts, and Tether, other Curve vaults. So it seems like they're, have more than enough in their treasury to cover any debts. And as always, the MiM is over collateralized not by the Abracadabra treasury, but by assets that individual depositors choose to lock up. And again, those assets must always be over the value of MiM coins in circulation. So ultimately, we do have confidence in the collateralization of MiM, but we're not willing to let that get in the way of all the hard work we're doing to build the future of Grape, right? So if people are concerned about MiM losing its peg, nothing we do at Grape can really overcome that, right? And we're just not willing to let that distract from the efforts we're making. So we have discussed potentially moving the peg to another stablecoin. The most likely candidate at this point looks like USDC, but we'll get more on that soon, and there will very likely be a community vote on that. So that's all I really want to say for now about MiM. But just know that, we're not going to let that get in the way of what we're building here, and we will take action when we see it's appropriate and if the community feels like it's the right choice. All right, and on to our new features for the week. The dashboard is live, and I really can't say enough about how beautiful this thing is. It's just really a simplistic way to keep track of everything you're doing on the protocol without clicking through 1,000 tabs, right? So we see at the top, Vineyard, we have a one-click claim all from your Vineyard farms if you want to do that. You can also use the link to go to the actual individual farm page, but from here you can already see APR, TVL, and your total value locked personally in each pool. So we come down, we can see our nodes page. You can see we have compound, claim, and view buttons again. You can see I can keep track of my number of nodes. I can see exactly how many rewards I have pending, and most beautifully, I can claim them all from this page without ever leaving this tab, right? And then also finally down here, we have the winery, which also has an epoch timer, and again, your total value staked, and you can claim your rewards if you choose so. So this is just, in my opinion, a huge quality of life upgrade, and I'm really excited to be using the dashboard, saving some time, and just being able to keep track of everything that's going on the protocol. So definitely check out the dashboard. It is linked up top here, right next to the home button. And new nodes, who dis? If you come over to the nodes page, you can see that we have the Grape-WLRS LP nodes now, currently our highest APR node option. And the way you're going to want to get into this is using the Grape and the Frozen Walrus tokens. So that's just WLRS ticker. And that is obviously released by the Frozen Walrus Seniorage Protocol, close friends of ours. Our lead dev, LB, is actually one of the key developers on the Frozen Walrus project, and we're excited to finally be able to offer a true partnership feature and product that people can invest in both protocols at the same time. So if you want to get into these LP nodes, you can take the link at the bottom of this page, which will take you over to Trader Joe. Alternatively, you can hit the pool page on Trader Joe, just type in Grape. You'll see that the Walrus Grape pool is the one you want here, so you can click on Walrus Grape and add liquidity. If you need to buy some Walrus tokens, you can type in WLRS on Dex Screener. You're going to see this is the Walrus USDC pool with 730k liquidity. So when you come over to the Dex Screener page, you're going to want to verify that it shows the Frozen Walrus logo and also links correctly to the Frozen Walrus Finance homepage, which is just frozenwalrus.finance. Once you verify that you actually are looking at the correct token, you can just click this link to trade Walrus on Trader Joe. Once you have Walrus tokens in your wallet, you're going to come back over to this pool page, deposit, and that will give you LP tokens. And once you have approved those LP tokens, you will see this plus button that allows you to deposit Grape-WLRS LP and purchase your nodes. And this is not a new feature, but because we did briefly depeg last night, bonds will be available for sale at the end of every epoch in which grape is below peg. They will release a certain amount of bonds available for purchase on this bonds tab. If you come over here, you can see all the bonds have actually been purchased. I could get 0.0003 bonds if I chose to, but if at the end of this epoch grape is again under peg, there will be more bonds available for purchase, right? And you trade them one for a grape. In exchange for locking up your grape and buying bonds, you can come back over here and redeem your bonds for a premium once the grape TWAP is above 1.1, right? So this is just a way that people can get a little bit of a reward for buying grape under peg and locking it up. On story, this is actually how I got my initial grape nodes when I first got into the protocol. I bought grape around this price, 0.92, went ahead and redeemed it at a price of 1.10. That gave me the little bonus, so I got about 1.20 grapes per bond, and I turned around and noded up those grapes, right? You could also just buy the grapes now and node them up like that. Okay, and just a couple community updates and shoutouts. We have a new most valuable grape in the Discord. That is going to be Kinney Thor. Kinney Thor is bilingual in Spanish and English. He's been a great figure in the community, and most of all, just a really helpful person in terms of helping some of our Spanish language friends understand what's going on at Grape, right? Other than that, we just love having him around, so congratulations, Kinney Thor. We also have some new OGs in the Discord, so Pandy Bear, Princess J2O, Galactic Grape, and Top Gun Hatch from the Walrus protocol. We are extremely pleased to have you guys all on board, and congratulations. And we have a couple of community questions from our AMA this morning. As always, you can watch the AMAs live on our YouTube channel, and you can leave any questions you have for the team if you want to hear them answered during the AMA in our Discord. So first of all, we just have this question about anti-whale mechanisms, right? There's always going to be fear in a small DeFi protocol of a large whale taking an oversized share of the coins and basically dumping them at any given time. So our answer to that is that we do have measures to help protect us against that. The key ones that I want to highlight are OTC trades, and again, we offer an OTC trade for anyone who wants to buy or sell wine or grape in any amount that would create over a 1% price impact. And the other measure is simply nodes and locking up protocol-owned liquidity, right? So essentially what that means is that the grape treasury is the biggest whale in the project, and that is the whale that's just never going to dump, right? So the more we node up, the more we offer these features that include a little bit of a cut for the protocol, and the protocol just invests that cut back in the liquidity pools. That is how we kind of stabilize the grape price and just protect both grape and wine tokens from whales dumping. The next question I want to talk about is someone just asked about Frozen Walrus. They said they saw a contracts are not renounced warning when they go to CoinMarketCap and look up Frozen Walrus, and they just like to know a little bit more about the project. So we understand that we are basically introducing a lot of our community to the project, and we take that seriously. We wouldn't just link you guys to any partner protocol that offered us a little kickback, right? The fact is that LB, the lead dev on Grape Finance, is a key figure in developing the Frozen Walrus code. So he has faith in it. I have faith in LB. And the fact that the contracts are not renounced, we understand that that could be a cause for concern. On the other hand, the founder of Frozen Walrus, Lame Hillbilly, or Austin, who's actually been on my channel, I'll link a interview with him here. He's doxed. He's somebody that we all trust in the community. And so actually, if you trust the team, which is LB and Lame Hillbilly, then the fact that the contracts are not renounced just gives the team more flexibility to adjust to the market, right? To react to any bad market conditions, or to offer extra incentives at a time of strong market conditions, or maybe weak market conditions, but Frozen Walrus itself is doing well, right? Which we've seen Grape kind of just continue to grow through the bear market. So all that just to say, I trust the team, and to me that's the most important thing. So we definitely have faith in Frozen Walrus, and we fully recommend checking them out. Alright, Grapes, that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning to the weekly update. I am going to leave you with a nice look at this grape chart bouncing off a 90-cent support and cruising right on back up to peg. So keep the faith. Stay tuned for any community questions about USDC, potentially new peg, and just stay tuned for more updates because there is so much more to come from Grape Finance. Alright, Grape out.